Hi everyone, this is Swanky Markets with the Forex for the 26th to the 30th of April, where we anticipate price to go, where we anticipate to enter trades and all of that. So if we start on the euro dollar daily, price, as you can see, last Thursday it broke this trend line here and came all the way down and actually broke previous support, and then it went right the way back up and it retested this trend line at 13399, or you could say 1.4 even. So a retest, what you would want tomorrow is you want another retest again of this trend line, which would be great, and that would be, again, is the 1.3400 area. However, stocks are turning. There's MACD divergence. This is on the daily chart. It gives me reasons to be weary. Price may break back above this trend line temporarily, and then might even get back as far as 1.3500 level, which is up here, which is this area here. Okay, so what I would do is I would it might even go as far as 1.3580 before it turns back down. There's a lot of resistance at 13500. It's the 61.8. Well, I've got it. It's the fib level on the weekly chart. It's EMAs, it's the psych level 1.3500, etc. So if we retest this trend line and it goes above, when price gets to the level of 3500, at the most 3580, I'd be looking to watch a turn and I'd be looking to take a short. If we go to the pound dollar on the daily, as you can see, we're in this flag pattern here. If I can blow that up a little bit for you so you can see a bit more clearly what I can see, we're in this flag pattern here, bouncing around. We can see we have resistance at 1.47883 was the bottom, and now we've got this trend line where it's pinged back off again. It was very messy, this pair, last week, and I'm not surprised. There's an election in 10 days time, so there is uncertainty. So how would I play this? I would wait for price to get to 1.5412, 1.5418, and see if it closes above on the 4 hour. If it does, I would then be looking at 1.5473. If it breaks, then I would definitely be looking to short at 1.5518, which is up here, which is previous. Alright, I'd definitely be looking to short there. 1.5380 was the weekly resistance last week here, which you can see is a weekly resistance, and it will be a massive test when it tries to break it, so be prepared. If it closes below on the daily, I would look for a retest to short here, but I would prefer for this pair to go long on the market open and get me in short from a higher position. And like I just said, I would ideally like it to get to 1.5518, and I would go well in there with this. And then when we break this, we are looking at a nice fall. I would anticipate it to go all the way down here, which is 500 pips. That's on breaking that trend line. If we get a retest up here, and we get all the way down to this trend line, that is 726 pips. So ideally, I'm looking to get in short here. If it does not turn on the previous levels, which is 54.12 and 54.73. Okay. I also mentioned 53.80, but that is the weekly resistance last week. Hopefully it'll break that, and I hope it gets all the way up there. We got the euro yen on the daily. If we have a look at it on the weekly, we can see we're still in this pennant on the weekly that we have not yet broken out of. On the daily, we got some nice pips out of this last week. I had a previous pennant drawn that I removed because it went back inside and all that, but as you can see, we're in this flag pattern. So watch it on those two areas and watch it on the smaller time frames. It's still in this tight range. It broke out of the wedge on the 4 hour chart on Friday, but it went back in. I will see what happens with the euro tomorrow over Greece and relook at tomorrow night. But as you can see in this flag pattern, the daily chart, areas I'm looking to short, or I would be looking here at 26.42, but I would prefer it to get up higher. I really would like 127.90. I'd love it to get up here, and it'd be a retest here of the 200 EMA on the daily. That would give me confidence, and I would be really liking to take this short up here, 127.90, and then hopefully it'll come down and hopefully it'll break out then for me. So, but we got to be careful, because it might actually come up and what's wrong with this pen, and retest here. So if it gets back up to here, this is higher, this is 128.46, but I don't know if it's actually going to get up there. It might actually come over here to 127.90, 128, and then come down, and then I'd like a break of this, but it all depends on what happens on the euro overnight. So watch those levels there, okay? The dollar Swiss, if the euro is going to go down, this is going to go up. We had there on Thursday a nice break of this trend line. It came all the way back down. It didn't quite retest the trend line. However, where I would like to see this test, I'm only interested in long in this pair. I'm not taking a short on this pair. I would like to see a retest of that trend line, the 10700, which is previous resistance support, and it coincides with the trend line. So that is a good logical area to get in. As you can see, the CMA here, which is the 200, that's a 365, is just underneath it, and that is at 0673. So, and this is a nice area to retest, and I'd be looking to long here, and hopefully at least we'll get up to 0874 then. So just watch that tomorrow. Watch those levels. The euro pound. Euro pound, as we can see, I showed you last week, I'm looking at this wedge. I have this drawn here it's like a pennant, but it's the wedge, this line here, that I'm looking to break. As we can see, we came down here last week, we retested it, and we went back above it. We are below this wedge line here, the pennant line. So I am looking to get in this as a long term. Ideally, I'm looking up here where I've drawn this blue rectangle. Whether it gets up there or not, we'll have to see. I'm hoping that it does, and then I'm hoping it breaks and we get a really beautiful loads of hundreds of pips move down. 86.50 is a massive support and resistance on the monthly chart. If you pull that up, you'll see what I mean, and I'm hoping it will get back up to 90 area. I may not. 88 is a good logical level again for this area here to reshort. If it gets back above, it might just spike through this trend line and back in, but 88, if it breaks that, I'm looking to get into this rectangle here at 88, between just around the 90, between 89.50 and 90 level, looking to short there if it breaks 88. So watch that, and that's where we're looking. I'm only looking to short this pair for a nice long move down. Forgive the pun. Aussie dollar, US dollar on the weekly. As you can see, we're back up here on the weekly. It came back up, tried to retest, went and got rejected. If we look at it a bit closer on the daily last week, if I can make this a bit bigger so you can get rid of some of that noise, and I'll just pull it up a little bit. As you can see, I got in this on Friday and I'm still in this. So where did I get in this on Friday? I got in the 91.70 is where I got in this on Friday, which is down around, I got in here near the bottom. There's where I got in here on Friday. I said it last week, if it got to that level to get in, and it got me in. If it pulls back to 9200, I will load up. I'll load in more. I'll see where this goes at market open. I might take half out, and then if it gets back to 9200, I'll load it up heavier. If you're not in this area, I'd recommend to watch for 9200. However, I am watching MACD divergence, slight divergence on the daily chart, and then we see on the weekly, we can see where we are. We got this trend line here. If I can just move this out of the way there, and we can see on the weekly we've got this trend line there. So we got a little wedge forming there. Usually it is the flat side that gives way, so we'll see how we get on with that. But this is a bit of a wick here on the weekly that I would be looking at. So you have to see where it goes on market open. But 9200, if you're not in it, is an area I would look to long that. The dollar CAD, we got some lovely pips out of the dollar CAD last week. Again, only interested in shorting this pair. I said last week if it got up to the 100 level, I would look to short that. Now I've changed slightly, and I'm actually now looking to go to 1.020, 1.0120, 1.0150 level. Which would bring us up here, pinging off this trend line, and a nice short back in. We're still in this daily pennant here. We haven't broken out yet, but like I said, those areas are